We're ecstatic with the results we're seeing. It's almost unbelievable.
A small town school district takes the plunge on restricting cell phone use, and they're glad they did. It's something the governor's now getting behind.
The evidence is in, and it's time to act. Let's make sure the classroom is a place for learning, growth, and connection.
How Ottumwa schools are leading the way for other districts and the success they've seen in just one semester.
Kids are saying that they are paying more attention, and then we're seeing that translation into their academic grades.
And the Des Moines school that tried it out when they knew mental health needed a boost.
I think that you always hope for the best, and we all knew we had to do something.
Coming up on KCCI 8 News Close Up, the fight to keep kids on task in the classroom and keep their phones out of it.
This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News Close Up.
Good morning and welcome to KCCI 8 News Close Up. I'm Chief Political Reporter Amanda Rooker. Well, all across the country and here in our state, the use of cell phones in schools has become a hot topic. And today, we're looking at some of the districts in Iowa that have already put restrictions in place on cell phones at school and how that's working for them. The Pew Research Center in 2023 reported 46% of teens surveyed said they were online almost constantly. That's double from the 2015 report. Now, other research shows that social media has been especially damaging for teenage girls, increasing the risk of body image issues and severe mental health problems. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds wants all Iowa schools to take action. She announced her proposal in her annual Condition of the State address.
I'm proposing legislation that requires schools keep instructional time free from digital distractions at a minimum.
Reynolds' bill would require all Iowa school districts to create a school cell phone policy, as she mentioned, at a minimum banning devices when students are learning by July 1st. Now, her proposal would also require effects of social media training for 6th through 8th grade students. In an interview last month, Reynolds applauded school districts that have already taken action. She says she's had several conversations with Iowa superintendents about how the lack of cell phones has changed what they're seeing at school.
School districts that have already implemented this are seeing tremendous results from it. I had superintendents say, I walked into the lunchroom, where I would never hear anything, and it was so loud and noisy because the kids were actually communicating and talking to each other and enjoying their time.
Now, Reynolds specifically pointed to the Ottumwa School District. They have about 5,000 students, and the district started the school year with one of the strictest cell phone policies in central Iowa. Phones are not allowed at any time during the school day. KCCI investigative reporter Suzanne Banky went to Ottumwa to talk with the district superintendent Mike McGrory. One semester in, they talk about how the policy is going.
Could you tell us, summarize the cell phone policy that's in place this year?
Sure. Really, our cell phone policy is probably one of the most, I don't know if stringent's the right word, but one of the most aggressive type policies where we don't allow cell phone usage not only in the classroom, which is, as you know, part of the governor's proposal, but we also don't allow it in the lunchroom, we don't allow it in hallways. So it's a very comprehensive policy.
And that started this school year.
It did.
Right.
Yep.
What were some of the considerations or the reasons, factors that led you to this policy?
What really moved me when I started to research it and looking at all the different elements, we all know that our hope is it increases engagement. Our hope is that it improves student test scores, their grades. Our hope is it improves the mental health of students. But the one that really struck me was the impact social media was having, particularly on young females. And when we looked at the research and the impact it was having on their lives as teenagers and how detrimental it was to our teenagers in general, that's one that really swayed me, is that we need to do something, and we need to do something soon, because I'm sure you've seen the statistics, but it's 3 to 4 times more likely for females to experience, anxiety, bullying, those type of things through social media.
the governor has this policy. She's proposed legislation to have schools take on cell phone policy, maybe not as aggressive
Right.
as this one, but she did mention your school district in her condition of the state speech. Did you know that was going to happen?
We did. We actually, it was very gracious of her. She invited us to it.
Have you spoken to the governor about it or anyone in the governor's office about your policy?
Yes, both.
And how have those conversations been?
I think, because they were thinking about doing it statewide, they're certainly wanting to see how it's worked for us, and then being more extensive, how that's worked. And my one comment to them was that I think it's a great start, what they're proposing, and what I envision happening probably fairly quickly is that schools would go to more restrictive type policy. And I think it will be quicker than people think. But I think she's wanting to give that choice to the schools, which I think is a great idea.
Some of the pushback has been, well, what about safety?
Sure.
Like, what if there is an incident at my child's school, and I want to hear from them to know that they're safe?
Yep.
How does your policy address that?
Right. We knew that was going to be one of the larger concerns, and so we knew we needed to be proactive to have an answer for that. And we part of the answer was showing that in some respects it works against safety. For students to all have their phones when you have an emergency and everybody's using their phone and so forth, it can impact that. And then also avenues we would use in an emergency situation that we would make sure people were informed, rolling that out. But really, I would say that it wasn't as big an issue as I thought, and I thought it would be a really big issue, is because parents have seen over probably the last 10 years the negative impact of cell phones, and so they're incredibly supportive now of not having cell phones. And I think one way around the safety that we also articulated was that they still have their phones, So if there is an emergency, they can still use their phones.
Have any of those safety concerns continued to? You said that you were surprised that there wasn't as much pushback on that part. Has there been any ongoing conversations with parents or guardians or other stakeholders who continue to bring that up every once in a while, or has that kind of just been allayed?
Yeah, I would have thought there would be, and I have had really none after we implemented. I would say the other one that you probably are going to ask too is that element of being able to get a hold of my child. The reality is what they saw there. We hear this from parents constantly, is that we're talking more to our kid, we're having more conversations, and I think that's great.
It is. Well, now you've been in the governor's speech, and now there's this legislation. So are you hearing from more districts in the state?
Yeah, we certainly have, and we just want to be a resource, and I think every school district's different, and so our policy may not work for other districts and so forth, but I think we can help them with working out some of the bugs, like how do you have where, storing, what if the phones go off in class, all those issues that arise, and how did that work? We ask students is to put it in their lockers. But we also recognize that some students may not do that. And so the requirement is that it has to be out of sight and off. And if you can do that, and you're not putting it in your locker, you're not disrupting, then we'll work with you on that. I think the biggest concern teachers had, this is kind of ancillary to it, is that I don't want to be the administrator, on this issue. And so we made sure we had a policy that all they had to do was refer them to the office rather than them having to handle it in the classroom.
So that removes them from the equation.
Right. Because we knew that would be a big concern for teachers, that they were going to be the bad person enforcing it.
What have the results been so far?
It's not only engagement in the classroom, but engagement like in lunchrooms so in a general sense, we're ecstatic with the results we're seeing. It's almost unbelievable. And feedback from teachers and students, most will say, this has been a benefit to me, and it's benefited me in so many different ways. I'm more engaged. My mental health. I'm not looking at my phone all the time. I'm not waiting for a reply to every text and all that. And I think you can kind of expand that to how has it changed adult behavior?
Yeah. And
it definitely has changed adult behavior too, because I think we all feel like we have to role model this if we're going to have students, So I think everybody's more conscious of, if you're in the hallway or whatever, don't have your cell phone out, don't take a call, those type of things. So it gives you much more awareness of, people. The kids are watching you. If you're asking them to do it, you should be modeling it. And so yeah.
So as superintendent started anticipating, okay, I've got to put this policy together and so forth, and maybe they're making the same assessment you did. Is this the battle I'm ready to fight?
Right.
What would you advise them on? What would you tell them?
I think the keys for us that helped our policy be so successful was a lot of involvement, a lot of stakeholder involvement. So we had students, we had parents, we had community. And so I think that's key to get buy-in. You have to have a community that is willing to trust you, that this is best for kids.
When we return, we hear from an Ottumwa High School student who says the new policy has improved the way she interacts with her classmates and has changed her life outside of the classroom.
Not having it there, that was kind of like my anchor, but it has helped me find new ways to cope.
We talked with sophomore Donna Roop back in August. It was just 1 week into her school's cell phone ban. Back then, she told us she was still adjusting. Now, we met back up with Donna last week. She's now finished her first semester at Gateway High School, and now she's gone more than 5 months without having her phone at school. KCCI's Suzanne Banky asked her if she's still on board with Ottumwa's cell phone ban.
Talk to me about not having a cell phone during the school day. What is that like?
I know it's very biased, but I enjoy not having my cell phone at school. I like how they have it locked up. I like the fact that you're not constantly reaching for your phone, because it's built into your system. I got my first phone a day before my 9th birthday, so I was pretty young, and it just kind of became a habit.
So where is your phone right now?
My phone is in the school's lockers, like phone lockers.
Okay.
So you'll walk inside of the building, and to your left is the phone lockers. You get to keep your key on you at all times throughout the day, and you get it back at the end of the day, 2:45.
Can you describe what it was like to go from having that phone be on you a lot to not during the school day?
It was stressful, to say the least. Very, very stressful. I'm the type of person who, in a loud or uncomfortable situation, I reach for my phone. It doesn't have to be on. I'll just like pretend like I'm typing or scrolling or something like that. So I've had to learn new ways to avoid situations like that, or make myself more comfortable in those types of situations. You'll actually have conversations if you have free time. You'll have conversations instead of reaching for your phone. I'm not allowed to have any social media besides Facebook because my grandparents can monitor it and make sure I'm being safe. However, on my old phone, I found a way to get past that, and I made an Instagram account. And there was just a bunch of cyberbullying going on. It like made my mental health a lot worse. But definitely, like, not having your phone during the school day has impacted that and has made it a lot better. There's less bullying, cyberbullying. You don't have to worry about checking your phone and seeing a nasty message or pictures or rumors. Like, none of that really happens anymore, and it's really beneficial for a lot of students. All school districts that have the no phone policy or are planning to implement the no phone policy are definitely going to see an increase in students actually enjoying being at school, and which is something that I've seen a lot of. I've seen communication, I've seen people laughing and actually having conversations. I've seen one-on-one conversations with teachers and like help when you need it. So definitely do not stress out about not having your phone in class. There's always before school, after school, the middle of the night if you please. But like a few hours without your phone isn't that bad.
Next, we sit down with an administrator who's been tracking the data since the start of the school year. Why she's excited about the results as both a school leader and a parent with children in Ottumwa schools. Welcome back to Close Up. We are taking a closer look at how things are going in the Ottumwa School District. Students and staff started the school year with one of the strictest cell phone policies in central Iowa. We sat down with Dr. Maria Lance, the district's director of curriculum and instruction. She told KCCI's Suzanne Banky that the district is already seeing success one semester in.
So you've got this new cell phone policy that's been in effect since the start of school. How are things going?
Really, really well. We are so excited about the work that we've done, and I was really nervous at the beginning of the year that we'd have a lot more pushback from students in particular. Kids love their cell phones. We love our cell phones, and so that scared me a little bit going into this, but I think once you see that information on mental health and wellness for our kids, and being a mom myself, like, you know, you can't unsee that information. And so although I had those initial trepidations, I knew we were doing the right work for kids and that we would persevere through that. And we didn't have the issues that I had anticipated in terms of students being so upset or frustrated with the policies.
What are the wins of this policy being in place?
We have a ton, and I don't think it's fair to say and make a correlation or a causation to one thing. We've had a lot of different shifts happen in our district this year, but the cell phone policy is a big part of that, and it's, again, something that we brought consistency to in our entire system. And so when you look at just specifically within classrooms, kids are saying that they are paying more attention, and then we're seeing that translation into their academic grades at the end of semester, and it's just really cool to see it all play out.
And you mentioned you're a parent.
I am.
Are you a parent of a student in the district?
2, yes.
What grades?
I have a 7th grader and a 4th grader.
Okay, so you're the 7th grader. Did she have a phone at the start of this year or access to one?
She does have access to a phone.
And how is that going?
I couldn't be more excited about her own achievement data. I mean, she did really well this semester, which is a wonderful thing. But if you were to talk to her, she hasn't really known a world where cell phones have played a role in her life at school because she's new to that middle school environment. Coming from being a former middle school administrator, I didn't have a day where cell phones didn't impact behavior, whether it was behaviors that came into the building or ramifications of behaviors that occurred because kids were rude to each other on social media. And it is such a good feeling to know that my daughter doesn't have to be in a learning environment where kids can maybe hurt each other on purpose or inadvertently through their use of cell phones and social media. I talk to my daughter a lot about when something goes online or even just in a text message, it's there forever, whether we think we get rid of it. And when at the teenage age, our frontal lobes aren't fully developed, right? And so we're acting more sporadically, more frequently, and we often do things in the moment that feel right, that we regret later. And to take that burden away from our kids as a whole, my daughter included, in our schools, is I think one of the greatest gifts that we can give them. And I think another part of this, I know we talk a lot about mental health, and again, once you see that data around mental health, specifically female mental health, you can't unsee it, especially when you have daughters. And just knowing, even like our bullying and harassment cases, we have a policy for filing those cases. We had 10 at this time of the year. Last school year, we have 3 cases filed this year, 0 founded cases. So just seeing those things in the terms of the mental health for our kids, I could never justify going backwards. We come into this field to do great work for kids, and it's a really difficult field. And when you put a policy into place that affects every classroom across the district, and then you see that impact, it feels really good.
Still to come on Close Up, 2 of the state's largest districts are implementing their own plans to keep the electronic distractions away from students. We'll hear what they're doing coming up after the break. Welcome back. Today, we've been focusing on Ottumwa's cell phone policy, but leaders at the state's largest district, Des Moines Public Schools, have also been discussing their own. Hoover High School started enforcing rules aimed at improving mental health last fall. The school stopped letting students use cell phones, headphones, and AirPods during the school day. Not long after those rules started, the schools saw a clear improvement in grades, attendance, and behavior.
They are succeeding more. I have not had this many A's and B's at this point in the year, ever.
How do we find protons?
Catherine Moore is a teacher at Hoover. She said before the school year, she spent a lot of time and energy policing phone use. Now, she says she has more time for instruction. School leaders said the concerns that were brought up before the policy's implementation have not been issues at all.
Two myths around this. People kept saying the kids aren't going to do it and the parents are going to be mad at you. The kids are doing it and none of our parents are mad.
Under Hoover's mental health movement, administrators also encouraged parents and caregivers to wait to introduce cell phones to kids until they turn 14. They also encouraged not allowing young people to use social media until the age of 16. Well, the Ankeny School District implemented its Phones Away for the Day policy about a month into this school year. It prevents students from using wireless communication devices during school hours. Students can have these devices, but they have to be turned off and placed out of the student's reach. An exception is provided for students with an IEP if the device is used for medical translation or other school-based accommodations. If a parent needs to contact their student immediately, they are encouraged to call the school's main office. Well, thanks for joining us for KCCI 8 News Close Up. We'll see you back here next Sunday. Have a great day.